Trailhead. Just got signed in and I'm getting started on the trail. Today's plan is to do, big day today, so today's plan is to do Saddleback, Gothics, Armstrong, Upper and Lower Wolf Jaw. So 5 peaks. That will be peak number 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 for me. Today is day 6 of day 7 that I have out here in the Adirondacks. The weather continues to be absolutely amazing. It's mid 50s right now, 6:45 in the morning. The sun just came up. I think that this is a 15.2 mile hike if I'm gonna go off of all trails. I forgot my watch charger, so I no longer have my GPS on my watch. I do have my inReach, but I don't really trust the mileage off of that. My route for this trip will be to go down the Phelps Trail, which is what I'm on right now, go past John's Brook Lodge, then I'm going to take the Orebed Trail up, do an out and back to Saddleback, and then do Gothics, Armstrong, Upper Wolf Jaw, and then an out and back to Lower Wolf Jaw, and then descend down Wolf Jaw Trail, I believe. Back to the Phelps Trail, back out to the car. Should be a great day. I'm excited to get this started. I was at this trailhead yesterday for my day 5 when I did Big Slide. I can link that video in here. And it went, I keep saying straight up. I think that's just like a term. It was not straight up, but right from the trailhead, it had a gradual incline. Where some of these trails, you get a little bit more into the trail on relatively flat sections. So yesterday I came down the Phelps Trail to the car, and I know I have a 3 mile nice little warm up, 3 mile plus warm up to get in and over to start ascending to go up to Saddleback. The drive here from Lake Placid was stunning this morning. There was a layer of fog as the sun was coming up, and there's just the cute little towns going through, as well as like an old Victorian house that's white with a red little barn and horses. I saw 2 deer like licking each other like a mom and a baby. It really is like straight out of a movie here. My original plan for this hike was to go, I had an AMR reservation for today, which I canceled, but my original plan for this hike was to go in through the AMR and do Gothics, Armstrong, Upper and Lower Wolf Jaw. And I've run into so many great people on trail who have given me advice. I mentioned in a previous video when I had done Mount Colden, I ran into a couple that were coming up. It was her 46th and his 4th 46th. He had done the 46 4 times, which is incredible. And Colden was the top for both of them for that. And they were gonna have champagne and do the whole thing up there. But he had asked, you know, what other hikes I was planning on, and I had told him. And he said for this one, he said, you know, he'd recommend going from the garden. And, you know, obviously he has a lot of experience out here. So I also figured that, you know, new experiences, new trails. I've done the AMR and that walk-in a few times already. So I will get kind of a new approach and new trails this side. And they both recommended, like, while you go up and you're there, they're like, take Saddleback because it's a half mile out, half mile back. You'll get that easy. And then you're not doing the cliffs on the other side coming from the other way, which I think are a little more tricky. So I greatly appreciate that advice. I'm taking it. I do hope at some point to see the other side of the Saddleback cliffs. I would love to try to attempt to do the Great Range Traverse in a day hike, which would be 8 peaks, 10 if you do Rooster Comb and Hedgehog, which aren't high peaks, but I would include those in there. So you would start probably at Marcy and end at Lower Wolfjaw. So I would hit the cliffs there. I wanted to do that hike in this trip, but I've never been out here before. And I came to my senses after a while to, you know, for this trip, just come out here, get a lay of the land, see what you're capable of, and save that for something to look forward to in the future. A little view of my walk in. This is a very lovely trail. Like I said before, a nice little warm up for my legs before we start doing some climbing. I am thinking that this one will take me probably 10 and a half, 11 hours maybe. I'm not totally sure. I'm not in a race or anything, but I do tend to approach hiking as sport. So for me, it's a lot about the physical challenge being out here. There are what they call journey hikers and destination hikers. I am definitely a destination hiker. I tend to, like I said, approach this more as a physical challenge than anything. Everybody has their own style of hiking and what works best for them. The way my mind works is I feel like my brain is always on. There's a lot of noise all the time. And when I exert myself physically, that noise kind of quiets down in a way that, you know, any other activity just kind of doesn't do. So in a strange way, it's very relaxing for me because I get a little break from all that noise going on. I was listening to David Goggins, huge fan of David Goggins, but I was listening to a podcast and he's like, he kind of said the same thing in there, and paraphrasing here, but he had said, you know, if you exhaust yourself physically, there's just not room for anything else. And I 100% agree with that. That is my style and my approach to hiking. Kind of a slower walk in the woods, for me, is not as relaxing, unless, of course, I've already exerted myself physically. Then I could maybe find some more enjoyment in that. Let's do a little brook here, over a little bridge. I think the point I'm trying to make is we're all out here doing things for our own reasons, at our own pace, and it's all about hiking your own hike. So I mentioned before, today's day 6 of 7 for me out here. I've hit an amazing stretch of weather on this trip. Every day has been the same. Low to mid 50s to start, low to mid 70s by the time I'm ending my hike. I've been out hiking 8 to 10 plus hours every day I've been here. I am at, before I started today's hike, around 72 trail miles, and I've summited 10 high peaks in that time. When I first started, I've been planning day by day to see how my body feels. When I first started, I was a little concerned. Not concerned, but just thought like maybe, you know, I wouldn't be able to do as much and I'd just be tired. But I think I've gotten what they call trail legs. I seem to be getting kind of stronger as I go. I just want, as I keep going, I just want more and more. I just want to keep going. I am going to be very sad to see this trip end. It has been absolutely magical out here and I can't wait to come back. All right, 3 miles in. John's Brook Lodge is that way. We came from that way yesterday, coming down a big slide. That is the Slide Mountain Trail. Beautiful. The little brook along there is awesome. Today we are heading this way to go to the Orebed Trail. So we've made it to our next exit. We are headed up to the Orebed Trail. All right, here we go. 3.1 miles to Saddleback. If we're 3.1 to Saddleback, call it 3.2, 3.3, I'm not sure, back to the garden. You know, you're at 6+ miles just to get in and hit your first summit. I did read that the sign at that intersection did say abandoned trail due to flooding and you know, the bridges got washed out and in high water it might not be passable. Trail's not maintained. That was, I think, going to the Wolfjaw Trail. I'm not sure. So we'll see when we come down. Hasn't rained here in some time, so I'm not too concerned about high water. So kind of as I just mentioned, I'm going out and then traversing. So to my left here, Lower Wolfjaw, I believe, is actually that way, and then Upper Wolfjaw. So I'm kind of doing the walk in, if you will. Then I'll go up, and then I'm gonna traverse along here, and then back down to that junction. So far, this has been a great trail to follow. Just a gradual incline here. Never been on this trail before, but in my time out here, I'm assuming it's going to get steeper and much rockier. I just checked my map and I should be crossing over a brook here shortly, where I think I'll fill up my other leader. This trail follows a brook, I can hear it, but it's not necessarily like easy to get to. I'm not trying to go off trail and trample through the woods. I'm trying to stay on trail. So I'm gonna fill up there just to be safe, and that will be enough water for me up along the range. Found a perfect little spot here to fill up. This could possibly be what they mean when they say that the trail's not maintained, you know, due to flood damage. It's just, this is the trail right here. You just got these trees and stuff. Really easy to navigate around. I'm not sure if that's what it meant. I guess we'll see what else we encounter. Oh, that's a big rock. Holy moly. That thing is massive. Wow. Just passed over the stream again, so I'm going uphill now in a way, so possibly going away from the water, but that would have been another choice to get water at, not too far from where I did fill up. But I'm starting to get a view of my day as the sun is starting to peek over. First clear view of where we're going. I believe that is Saddleback. Possibly a little bit to the left there. I can't quite see. I don't know if that's Saddleback or if like right there is. So we are headed in that direction. Definitely seeing what they say about it not being maintained. Definitely a lot of debris here and trudging off trail a little bit. So just trying to work my way back to the trail, which is a little bit over here to the left. I am back on trail. All Trails has me back on, and I think I see just a little bit up there, some yellow markers. I just stopped for a quick second and looked up and was kind of wondering my approach to go up this. And then I happened to glance to my left and I see that there is this here and the steps to go up. I think you can, and people do, go up the slide, but I am going to go up the steps. Amazing view from behind as I'm going up the steps. Incredible. In case you're wondering, I'm feeling that. Woo! We are in the climb. Made it up. So Gothics is that way. Right now, 0.5. I'm gonna go bag Saddleback, come back, start heading down the range. So as I say head down the range, and I'm gonna traverse across the range, you're not up on a ridge the whole time. I mean, in a sense you probably are, but I don't know what the parameters or rules are around. There has to be a certain amount of distance and a certain amount of drop between the peaks to be considered a high peak. One, the other, combination of both, I'm not 100% sure. So you will drop down in between each peak and go back up. So you're going down, up, down, up, down. Here's a pretty good example of that. I'm still going up Saddleback. I will come down Saddleback. There's Gothics. So you'll go all the way down, and then you're going back up. Getting a better view of our day. So we got Gothics here, Armstrong, and then upper and lower Wolf Jaw, I believe, are kind of like over to the other side. I don't believe that that's upper Wolf Jaw, but I think it's back behind, and then Pyramid Peak is right here. But we are going here and then across that way, and then I believe that way. So still cruising up Saddleback here. I think from before when I was down at the brook and I was pointing to the right thinking that was Saddleback, and then I was like, maybe it's to the left. I definitely think it was to the right, because now as I'm kind of have more of a lay of the land and I'm up here, I believe I'm walking from that spot on the left over to the summit on the right. High peak number 11, just summited Saddleback. Peak 1 of 5 today. I got you, buddy. So we have Basin is here, and Marcy is there, I believe. I think I have that right. I think that's right. But we came from this way, which is the way that we are going to go back. I'm going to take a quick minute up here, quick breather, the 1.5 back to the marker, and then we're going to head over to Gothics. It is just 10 a.m. now, so 3 hours, 15 minutes from parking lot to summit of Saddleback to start our traverse. I have not run into one person my entire time out here. So if you're hiking solo like myself, be prepared to, it's pretty remote in parts. When I was down filling up water in the brook before coming up here, the little my little tripod selfie stick fell in the water. So when I was up at the top of Saddleback and I was trying to take a picture, the little clicker to take pictures from afar, it's not working anymore. So either the battery died, or more than likely what happened is I wrecked it after getting it wet. So not going to be able to do, I'll try again maybe at one of the others and see if maybe it dried out and is going to work. But it had a good run this trip, but the fun could be over for now on summit videos or kind of the afar summit selfies. Back to the junction. Let's go get Gothics. This is steep. This is me looking straight forward. And we're gonna head up this little slide here. Getting a good view of Saddleback over here, where we just came from. Just came up the slide. Let's keep going. Just reaching the infamous Gothics Cables. I'm sure once I get started on this, I'll be very happy that they're there. I know it's just going to get better and better as I go up, but incredible view coming up these cables. Getting closer. Yeah, it's steep. As you come up those cables, you kind of reach a false summit and then kind of come back down in here. And I believe the summit is this way. I'm kind of walking a ridge. So when I was over at Saddleback, I'm new here, so I don't know if I was pointing at kind of like the false summit, or if by, you know, that far back, if, you know, you could see the top. I don't know. So I could have been pointing at the kind of the one side of it, and maybe called Armstrong, which is the summit of Gothics. I'm not sure. Again, I'm new here, so everything is kind of starting to look the same. I know people who are super familiar with this area know it, you know, back to front, but for me, you can get really turned around really easily. Summit of Gothics, high peak number 12. Found the summit marker on this one. Incredible views up here. Got you with me, buddy. 11:15. 1 hour to get from Saddleback to Gothics. I'm gonna enjoy the view here, have a little snack, and head over to Armstrong. All right, 11:35, spent 20 minutes up on the Gothics summit, chatted with some locals up there. Shout out to Glenn and Brian. They are from the area, and we sat and chatted for a little bit, and they gave me some advice on some other hikes to do and just some information on the area. So that's been great. The first people I've seen today on the trail. So it's been pretty quiet out here midweek. So it was nice to see some people and hang out for a little bit. So headed over to Armstrong now. Getting to see a little bit of a scramble going up Armstrong here. I've already gone up a couple. High peak number 13. I just summited Armstrong, and it is about 12 o'clock. Catch you with me, buddy. 12 o'clock. So I left, I think I messed up on the time a little bit. So I left Saddleback I summited Saddleback at 10, left at 10:15, and then summited Gothics around 11, and then I hung out up there, I think, until about 11:35, and then now made it here by 12 o'clock. So that was kind of a easy breezy. You know, it's all relative, right? So now I'm gonna sit up here and hang out for a little bit, have a snack, have some water, and then head over to Upper Wolfjaw, Lower Wolfjaw. my stuff out. So I'm just gonna fill up my water, get a little food, have a little lunch. This is peak 3 of 5 for the day. So probably gonna eat a little lunch up here opposed to just having a bar. And then want to check my map and kind of get my route for the rest of the day etched out and get back on trail. Having a little PB&J. Tastes so good. Got some other snacks in here. You know it. My favorite trail candy. Swedish Fish and Nerds gummies. I look forward to these so much on trail. I know they're terrible for you, but it gives me life out here. Should be pretty good on water. I am glad I filled up my liter in the stream on the way up. Got this left. I still have my other liter, so should definitely be good. I hear some other hikers coming up, so I'm gonna sit and enjoy my candy. They're just so good. Just leaving Armstrong, 12:26, onto the Wolf Jaws. I'm glad to see that there's a ladder down there. Way down there, I'll zoom in on it in a second. That is straight down. This is me looking forward, so this is straight down, but I do see there's also a ladder down there, so I can probably easily kind of traverse along here to get down there. Glad that ladder was there. The branches are so nice to kind of grab onto as you're going down there, but as you grab them, you're not the only person that's thought of that. So some of these they get kind of a little wiggly, so I've kind of been getting accustomed to testing them out a little bit before I start putting weight on there. It's also nice I got my little trigger to work back on Armstrong, so I don't know if maybe just on the other peak if I was almost maybe too far away. With the wind, I didn't want to go, have my phone too close out there, so that could have been it, or maybe it dried out a little more, but seems to be back in business for the moment. Just finished dropping and then coming across a little bit of a flat area as I'm starting to come up. So I believe we are starting to ascend Upper Wolf Jaw. Getting a nice little view of where we came from. There's Armstrong. And just coming up this. And as these things go, views always get better the higher you climb. So Armstrong, I think Gothics is behind there. I think that's Saddleback over here. I think I'm getting close to the summit. I hear voices. High peak number 14. Just summited Upper Wolf Jaw. So did you, buddy. And now we are gonna head over. So I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's Lower Wolf Jaw Notch maybe, and then that's actually Lower Wolf Jaw there. So it kind of looks like you go this way, but I think you kind of hit and then go over. I'm not 100% sure though. It's a little tricky looking at it, but I'm just gonna follow the trail and it will bring me there. As these things go, I went off trail. The gal who was up at the summit with me, after the couple left, I almost followed the way that the couple went, then realized once I talked to her that they had already said they had already hit Lower Wolf Jaw, so I think they were descending down. So she got ahead of me and I stopped and talked to some people that had come up, and I just assumed, you know, again, the assuming here is I go down and, you know, follow back to the last intersection I was at. And then I ran into another gentleman and he's like, no, I don't think so. So I backtracked up to the summit, and then lo and behold, right down from the summit is the trail veered to the left, and that's where I'm going. So, all right, on to Lower Wolfjaw. Just reached the junction here, half mile to Lower Wolfjaw, half mile back, and then we're gonna descend down. We did it, buddy. High peak number 15, just summited Lower Wolfjaw. High peak number 5 of today. It was the 0.5 up. It was steep. So I summited probably around 2:15, sat up here and chatted with a few people for a little bit, and they went on their way. So I'm just gonna do this video, take a few pictures, and head back down to the junction and take the Wolfjaw Trail back down to the Johns Brook outpost. Back down to where it broke off into the 0.5 to go up to Lower Wolfjaw. And now we are going to head to Johns Brook Lodge, 2.5, garden parking area, 5 miles. That's us. We are back to the beautiful swinging bridge from this morning and the trail that we took, which was up that way to Saddleback, went up, traversed the range, came down via the Wolfjaw Trail. And now we are gonna go over that beautiful swinging bridge again. We are back cruising on the Phelps Trail. This pretty easy 3-mile hike out, which at this point I am grateful for. Closing in on the trailhead. The time is about 4:45, so 10 hours on trail. And I probably spent on this trip the most time I've spent on the summits, on each of the summits. And I actually just stopped and talked with the ranger for 10 or 15 minutes too. So plenty of breaks, which was great and much needed on this long hike. So 15.2 miles for this loop, 10 hours. It was a great hike and incredible views. The notable pieces for me were going up Saddleback, and then I'm trying to think, up Gothics with the cables, and Armstrong, Upper Wolfjaw, okay, and then Lower Wolfjaw, the ascent up, the 0.5 up. I had my health monitor on my phone going off. Maybe it was just going to tell me the steps, but I think it was telling me my heart rate was going. So, like I said, all in all, an amazing hike. So day 6, I'm so sad I only have one more day left out here. I'm just going to soak it up and enjoy it as much as I possibly can. Thank you so much for watching this video. To follow along on my future adventures, you can click subscribe. You can also find me at Wild Fox Outdoors on Instagram and Facebook. I hope to see you on the trail. Stay wild.